You know what's heartbreaking? It's not that you're not handsome. It's not that you're not working hard, kind, or even emotionally available. The real heartbreak is that you've been complimenting women the wrong way, and you don't even realize it. You tell her she's beautiful. You like her dress, her smile is cute, and somehow she still pulls away. Why? Because you're speaking to her surface, not her soul. You see, women aren't starving for praise. They're starving for understanding. They're tired of being seen only for what's visible, the body, the makeup, the curves, the photos on Instagram, what she's longing for. What truly makes her fall is being seen for the things she hides. Her quiet strength, her fears, her resilience, her awkward laugh, her way of caring when no one else is watching. So if you've ever felt like your words go unnoticed, if you've been ghosted after doing everything right, this video is for you. Because once you learn how to compliment a woman in a way that reaches beyond her body and touches her being, she won't just notice you, she'll remember you. And that, my brother, is how you stop chasing and start pulling. When a woman hears the words, "I love the way your mind works," something shifts inside her. Because most of her life she's been valued for how she looks, not how she thinks. She's used to being told she's beautiful or sexy or stylish, but rare is the man who pauses, leans in and says, "I love how your brain connects the dots." This kind of compliment disarms her. It speaks to the invisible beauty she's been craving to be seen. It tells her that while the world may praise her outer shell, you are focused on something deeper, something that matters, something permanent. And here's the truth most men miss. Many women are deep thinkers. They overanalyze. They solve emotional puzzles. They anticipate needs before others even notice them. They can read a room, adjust their energy, and still walk away without ever being acknowledged. When you highlight this silent skill, her ability to think through complexity, you offer her validation that feels intimate, almost romantic. Maybe she shared an opinion that made you think twice. Tell her. Maybe she gave advice that changed your perspective. Acknowledge that. Don't just say you're smart. That's generic. Be specific. Say, "The way you broke that down made so much sense." Or you have a way of seeing what others miss. And watch her face. You'll see something soften. Her guard will lower. Not because you flattered her, but because you understood her. You prove that you're not just looking at the package, you're seeing the processor inside. Her internal fire. And that's rare. When a woman realizes that you're not intimidated by her intellect, but turned on by it, that's when she starts thinking of you in a different light. That's when conversations go deeper. That's when trust is born. So compliment her mind, not to impress, but to connect with her. Because the man who sees her thoughts is the man who stays in her thoughts. There's something magnetic about a woman who walks into a room and changes the temperature without saying a word. She doesn't have to wear red lipstick or heels to make people notice. It's not about style, it's about energy, the way she carries herself, the way others relax in her presence. And most men miss it because they're too busy saying, "You look nice," or "That color suits you." But here's what really pierces a woman's heart. When a man looks at her and says, "People feel safe around you, and I see why." That's a different level of praise. Because now you're not admiring her for how she decorates herself. You're admiring her for the light she brings into the world, for how she holds space for others, for how she comforts, encourages, protects, even when no one asks her to. And for a woman who's spent years being reduced to physical compliments, this hits like a tidal wave of relief. You're telling her, "I see your impact, not just your impact." It could be how she talks to children, how she lifts her friends when they're broken, how she diffuses tension with a joke, or how she listens, really listens, when someone is falling apart. Compliment that. Say, "You're the kind of woman who makes people breathe easier just by being there." Or, "I noticed how everyone turns to you when things get messy." That's powerful. And here's the magic. When you speak to her influence, you elevate her. You remind her that she's more than her Instagram, more than her curves. You show her that her presence has value, that her being without effort, without filters, is enough. This kind of compliment, it creates bonding. It makes a woman feel seen in ways no mirror ever could. Because in a world where everyone sees her face, you dared to see her force, and that, my brother, is unforgettable. You hold so much together even when it's hard. Let that sit for a moment. Because most women won't hear that in a lifetime. They'll be praised for smiling, admired for being strong, but no one stops to acknowledge how heavy that strength really is. She's expected to hold the pieces for everyone else while hiding her own cracks, to show up with grace even when her world is falling apart. And then one day, you notice it. You look her in the eye, not just when she's laughing, But when she's tired, quiet, worn out, and you say, you carry so much, I see that and I respect it. That's intimacy, because now you're not complimenting what's convenient. You're not praising her when she's glowing. You're honoring her when she's human. You're acknowledging the invisible labor, emotional, mental, and spiritual, that women are expected to perform without applause. She's the one who remembers her sister's appointment, plans her friend's birthday, calms her coworker down, wipes her own tears, and still answers your call with a soft voice. And when you say, I know it's not easy, you give her permission to breathe, to stop performing, to just be. That's when her walls begin to crumble, not in fear, but in relief. So when you witness her emotional strength, don't make it poetic, make it personal. Tell her, I admire how you keep showing up. Or, I know you must be tired sometimes, but you still give so much. That means something. You're not calling her strong to burden her with more resilience. You're reminding her that she's not invisible. And that's powerful, because in a world that applauds women for staying quiet, staying composed, staying strong, you become the man who lets her feel held. And once a woman feels emotionally held, you'll never be just another guy to her. You'll be the one who saw her not as a superhero, but as a human being with a heart that never stops giving. And that is the man she'll fall for, every single time. It's beautiful how you open up, even when it's not easy. Do you know what that tells a woman? It tells her you're safe. Because vulnerability is not natural, it's brave. And for women it comes with risk. Risk of being judged. Risk of being misunderstood. Risk of being called too much. Most women have shared their truth before, only to be laughed at, dismissed, or ghosted afterward. So now, she hides. She laughs things off. She says I'm fine when she's breaking. And then you come along. You don't interrupt. You don't look away when her voice shakes. You listen deep. And after she opens up, maybe about her childhood, her heartbreak, or just a long day, you thank her for trusting you. That's rare. When you say, it's beautiful how honest you are about your emotions, you're not just complimenting her strength, you're validating her femininity, her softness, her willingness to be real, even when the world expects her to be composed. And that's a game changer. Because here's what most men get wrong. They try to fix her feelings, or worse, they shy away from them. But a high-value man does something else. He holds space. He says, I don't need you to be perfect. I just need you to be you. And when she hears that, something shifts. Her fear turns to trust. Her walls turn to doors. So don't be afraid to go deeper. When she shares something vulnerable, respond with thank you for telling me. That shows a lot of courage. Or, the way you express your emotions is something I admire. Compliments like that don't just make her feel appreciated, they make her feel understood. And for a woman who's tired of pretending, tired of being strong, tired of hiding, you're not just making her feel good, you're making her feel safe. And that, more than any pickup line, creates a connection she'll remember. Because when a woman knows she can break down and still be seen as beautiful, she won't just open her heart, she'll invite you to live in it. You laugh at your own jokes. I think that's adorable. Now, Paul, that might sound simple, maybe even silly, but that one sentence, it sees her, not the curated version of her on Instagram, not the poised version she shows at work. It sees the real her, the spontaneous, unfiltered, quirky her that rarely gets appreciated. You see, most men chase perfection. They chase the polished image. They compliment what's obvious, her dress, her smile, her figure. But a woman doesn't fall in love because of the compliments she hears from every man. She falls for the man who notices what others overlook. That's where the magic lies. The way she sings off-key in the car, how she scrunches her nose when she's confused, that little dance she does when she gets excited. Compliment that. Tell her the way you do that little shimmy when you're happy. It just makes my day. Or, I love that you're not afraid to be silly. Because those small, unpolished moments, that's where her truth lives. That's where she's not performing. That's when she's most herself. And when you love that version of her, the version even she sometimes hides, she begins to trust you, to let you in. And here's what no one tells you. When a woman feels like she can be weird, loud, messy, and still be loved, she becomes fiercely connected to you. She's no longer worried about impressing you. She feels safe to just be. That kind of safety is rare, and it's addictive. So don't just say she's pretty. Tell her how the way she wipes her glasses before reading makes her look focused and radiant. Mention how her random facts make you smile. Laugh with her, nod at her, admire her, not for being perfect, but for being real. Because the compliments that truly matter aren't the loud ones. They're the quiet ones, the ones whispered between smiles, the ones that make her say, wow, you noticed that? That's when she falls. Not for your looks, not for your money, but because you saw her in the moment she forgot to hide. I've noticed how much you've grown. Don't think I haven't. That line, it does something to a woman, because most people in her life only see who she was. The version of her that made mistakes, the girl who tolerated too much, stayed too long, or gave too much of herself to the wrong people. And now, she's evolving, she's healing, she's learning to say no, to speak up, to love herself more. But here's the thing, growth is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It shows up in subtle choices, and rarely does anyone say, I see you. That's why this compliment hits so deep, because you're not praising her past. You're recognizing her progress. You're not fixated on the pain. You're focused on who she's becoming. You see that she's no longer chasing validation. You notice she's more grounded, less reactive, more intentional. And when you point that out, you give her one of the greatest gifts, recognition without judgment. Say it gently. Say it when she least expects it. Maybe you've seen her walk away from drama she would have once entertained. Maybe you've seen her set boundaries without apologizing. Tell her, you used to shrink yourself in certain situations. Now I see you standing tall. I admire that. Or, you handle things so differently now. That's strength. You see, most women carry shame from their past. Even as they grow, a part of them fears they'll always be seen through the old lens. But when you say, I see how far you've come, you're offering emotional freedom. You're telling her she's not stuck in her history, that her transformation is real and it's visible. And that makes you unforgettable. Because now, you're not just another man in her life. You're a witness to her becoming. You're the one who saw her not just as she was, or as she is, but as she's become. And when a woman feels seen in her becoming, she bonds deeply, emotionally, spiritually, because you didn't fall in love with her potential. You loved her process. And that, my brother, is a compliment no woman ever forgets.